Welcome back to The Watch. And before we get started, I'm just going to say to everyone, thank you for supporting us on Patreon, Subscribestar, and if you're new to our videos, then be sure to head over to those links to support us, because it really helps us make more content for you and be a bit more reliant on you all who watch us, rather than the overlords who can just change things at any moment.
You mean the Demiurge? The Archons?
Yeah,
At any moment?
whatever those are. But yeah, we thank you all for your support, and if you haven't already, then just check the links in the description. But let's just dive straight into the video.
What is today's video
Today's
about?
video, they already know because they clicked on the thumbnail and the title.
Yeah, but I don't know because
You don't know
I'm not
'cause
paying
you
attention.
What does the thumbnail say? Tell us.
What day is it today?
Anyways. Oh my god. You just derailed. We were on track, and I was just like, yes!
Like one of those videos from China where a guy just runs up to the bus and just makes a go off the bridge. I've seen that video.
You can't even say it.
Okay.
Patreon.
Hang on. Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. So today we're going to talk about something quite serious, I think, that needs to be brought up in regards to what Hollywood and Disney have been doing in terms of what they've been creating, okay? This has been an absolute plague pestilence on movies and TV for the past, dare I say, 10 to 15 years. And that is the reboots, the remakes, the sequels, the prequels, the remade prequel sequels to the original transcripts. I'm talking about the lack of originality just in Disney. We're going to point out Disney, especially because they're the big conglomerate company who just loves shilling all their fans just this absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. And we've got some evidence here, not only
You did it wrong, guys.
You
Sorry,
do not appreciate the garbage you're spewing.
I hate to interrupt, but you did it wrong. It's not garbage, it's garbage.
Yeah, the garbage.
It's not Leviosa.
Trash.
Yeah.
It's Leviosa.
It's funny because right now you kind of do look a bit like Hermione. The mainly the attitude. Uppity women.
People who are right all the time. They are just rehashing their own stuff.
I think this is not just a symptom of Hollywood or Disney, but this is a very human experience. Think about the past 4,000 years of religion or political theory. Anything that has been written, by big brain people.
Yeah. Small
brain people read that and thought, you know what?
People.
Yes, they exist.
Yeah.
Let me speak for them for a second. Small brain people. What?
Small brown people.
Sorry, Kevin Hart's still in my head.
Okay.
Small brain people have read the big brain text and they've thought, I understand that, and then they haven't, and then they've written their version of that, and it's been small brained. And then smaller brain people are like, well, that's genius.
To do with Disney?
And to do with Disney. Well, that's my point. These small brain writers have read watched what other better writers have done, and they're like, oh, that's successful, and I get it, let me do it.
See, though, but they're only rehashing their own stuff. There are so many books out there, so many books that they could probably easily get the rights to because they got the big money, but they don't. There's original content out there that they can steal.
Well, they do, but the thing is, one is a successful
Just
book
not their own.
franchise. Like an established movie franchise is easier to make than getting a book and turning it into a movie franchise. Because
Not
once
even
you've
a
done,
known book. They can pretend.
I actually
unknown
don't
books.
think these big companies have as much money as we assume. I think a lot of it is overhead, and they don't have the cash flow because we've seen it.
a lot of it is
But
investment.
how are they
Yeah,
getting
it's
big
investment.
celebrities?
Well, that's part of the paycheck, and they're getting that investment from the movies they're making. And so they
okay.
can get that money because they say, hey, we're making this new Lion King live action. Let's get Seth Rogen to voice one of the characters because that'll be
And
great.
Beyonce.
Yeah, so they can get that.
And then cut out the villains. Never mind.
Yeah,
This is not a Lion
I'm so
King
proud of
review.
you, though.
This is not a Lion King review.
But yeah, but they don't have the budget or the investment money to go and get a new IP.
Because
Disney did back in the day when he was, getting Mary Poppins and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Because he was a solo entrepreneur who had
Mary Poppins, which they've also done.
the big
over
bucks
again.
to do.
They make up their money in many ways for projects, right? So they did it in product placement's a big one.
Yeah.
Like, oh hey, Milo will give us $30 million if we include their logo right on screen for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then look at Captain America: Civil War. He fights the dude, and then it cuts to, and there's a massive Milo logo taking up half the screen, and everyone's like, bloody hell, come on.
Yeah.
There was
Well,
one
I've noticed it more subtly, especially with like cars and phones. In K-dramas I've been watching, you can always tell when a K-drama series is sponsored by Samsung, because everyone has the bloody new Samsung flip and fold.
You can always tell in a
or,
K-drama when
every
it's
single
sponsored.
car is a Mercedes car. I saw it in
They don't try to hide it.
in Shang-Chi. Every car I've seen that was like kind of close up front shot, BMW.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. And so that's one of the ways they get their money.
So these companies try to sell you certain products in movies. Do you think they might do that with politics?
Oh, they do it with everything.
Do you think they might do that with like
Everything.
worldviews and stuff
Anything
like that?
that has money involved or where money can be made, they're going to put marketing and ideas into you. Because you're the consumer and they want to take everything from you.
You are not allowed to put anything into me against my consent.
And so I think one of the issues that Disney has was there's a few things that these big companies have, but I think one of the issues is definitely money. The fact that they can't put trust in new IPs or new ideas or new people. They have to do the same thing that was already successful because they don't have the investment to make anything new.
Well, it's all about management of risk. Just business is... is business management of risk? No, not really.
But there are parts in management.
But I guess when you have investment bankers making all the decisions, yes, it all becomes about risk.
Yeah.
And the least amount of risk is to choose something that has been successful before.
Yeah.
The problem is they're not picking people who have been successful before, just the name to put on the box. So if they picked people who have shown a level of success or talent, then they'd have success. But they're not. They're just like, Star Wars, that always makes money. Give it to this retard to make. And the retard makes a retarded product.
And do you think Disney Plus is helping this out or not?
No,
Because
they're
they're not doing a lot of movie releases
No.
anymore.
I think Disney Plus is
There's so
such...
much being released onto Disney Plus.
is probably... And it's
Disney Plus making it worse for them. Do you know
Even
why?
like one of their worst adaptations was straight to Disney. Like one of the first things that came out with Disney Plus, Lady and the Tramp.
Oh,
Sucked.
never watched it.
Disney Plus is saturating the market for Disney. That but even then, businessmen they've accounted for
Even the
subscriptions
last two
versus.
Pixar movies went straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah,
didn't they?
Disney's been screwing over Pixar for a very long time now. But what were you going to say, Oz, with...
Oh well, what I was going to say is, they've got to find a way. Like, which one will bring in more money? Movie sales, which will include product placement, all other things, or purely just the
like
subscription
to bases. I think right now, realistically, movie tickets are still the sure way to go. But I think Disney's trying to... They're looking at the market and realizing everyone else has a subscription service. We need that because in the end, there is so many. We've got Paramount Plus, we've got Hulu, whatever. There's going to be a purge. And I think Disney wants to be at the top there, and they've got the catalogue for it.
There is a third option we didn't consider, which is the one they're actually doing: investment banks.
Yeah.
We could. I won't go deeper into it, but it's investment banks.
Yeah.
And look, I know that I am often certain about things, but this is literally the reason why, because I've been experiencing it for 10 years. Anyway, yeah. So. Certain about it.
Like, that was a real, what's his face coming out of you.
I'm so certain. Anyway, yeah, but the creative bankrupt thing, that has been a symptom for longer than the investment thing. So, like, it's just the management of risk, and they're like, oh, well, Star Wars works, sell Star Wars. Or, this thing works, sell that.
And I think a lot of the money, especially with Disney, the way that their marketing works, is they don't make money off of movies. Like, obviously, I think movies make back the money they spent, but a lot of their income comes back in the merchandising and the product placement. It's, with James Bond, they had a Heineken ad with that, and that was a whole thing that Heineken and even I think, what was the watch company? Like, they always sponsor Bond movies, and they have giant contracts because that pays for half the movie.
Aston Martin for the past
Aston Martin's
60
cars.
years. Yeah.
And so with Disney, I think as
Toys.
Well, Disney, they always want to put marketable things in it, like Freya and the Last Dragon. They made the dragons look cute and fluffy and plushy, and then
they
they
sell
gave
the
her
plushies.
an animal sidekick that was round and cute and fluffy.
And look, that's been Disney's thing since the beginning
Which
with
isn't
Mickey Mouse.
bad.
Like
Yeah.
that was smart. That's how George Lucas made his billions of dollars. He asked 20th Century Fox, hey, can I keep the rights for the merchandising? And 20th Century's like, yeah, sure, this movie's not going to sell well. And that's how he became such a powerful person, because he had the right to merchandising.
As he would say, another check for daddy.
Yeah.
But with the merchandise, I think in Encanto, they made a lot of dolls for one of the sisters, but nobody wanted them because they didn't like the sister in the movie. So even in that aspect, they're still shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, they have the Albuquerque desert for that. Not just dig a big hole and...
Yep, where all the E.T. cartridges are.
Do you think... Holy crap, I just thought of the best movie ever. Okay, it's that, but it's Toy Story and it's Mad Max. They're all living in the desert now. Could you imagine?
Toy Story 5!
Yeah. Toy Story 5, all the dumps
Actually,
desert.
But no,
Toy
6.
Story 4 kind of did that.
Wait, what Toy Story even up to? I don't know, because there's so many sequels now.
They had all the toys in the playground.
Toy
They
Story
kind of
4.
did that.
Toy Story 4 was the thing being dumped into the desert because it sucked.
Yeah.
Toy Story 4 sucked.
That
It ended
movie-
up just like Halo. Halo, the last good one was Halo 3. Toy Story 3 was the last good one. And at the end of both, I cried.
But Shrek 3 was not a good movie. Shrek 2 was good.
Don't
Shrek
you cry
3.
a little too often to
Shrek the Third.
add that into a factor?
What happened to
just
Shrek
kidding.
3?
That's when they had to go find the
Is that
other
the lots
heir.
of Shreks?
No, that's 4.
Justin Timberlake.
They had to go find the other heir, and
Oh,
he's like
Justin
some puny little
Timberlake,
boy,
right.
whiny kid.
Oh, okay.
And there was the wizard who was weird.
Yeah.
And then they did number 4.
And what's his face, the voice actor for Shrek?
Mike Myers.
Yeah, said he could do a Shrek movie every single year for the rest of his life.
Yeah. But he couldn't do one every year for the rest of Shrek's life. As a company. As a thing.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing, too. We've actually seen companies like that go bust now, like Shrek and DreamWorks. Like, DreamWorks has gone bust.
Yeah.
And Disney now owns all that.
The dream
They
ended.
do?
Yeah.
Disney owns
Disney
is
owns
like
DreamWorks.
Disney
DreamWorks
is like
closed down.
Thanos collecting companies and putting it onto the Infinity Gauntlet.
Have they been releasing things under DreamWorks? Like they've kept the company open, but they just own it?
Yeah. So, no, so DreamWorks is a whole animation studio. Everyone got fired and let off. But now they own the IPs and they'll be doing their own stuff in-house, from my understanding. So there'll be, like, more Ice Ages and more this and that, but it's all going to be under, like...
It's literally like a...
More of the same stuff.
Yeah,
It's literally a parasitic entity.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yes, consume and then... Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, because they no
It's
longer...
a monopoly.
They're no longer about making creative media, uplifting entertainment, anything like that now. Like, they will skin suit those elements and themes into movies just to get you to buy it.
Yeah, back in the day, it used to be they were trying to sell you a good movie. Now they're trying to sell you products, political messages, not a good movie.
Well,
Yeah.
a good movie and products.
Yeah, back in the day. But now they don't care if the movie's good. you
Like,
know.
the first Snow White was groundbreaking because it was the first motion-length picture animated film.
My great-grandmother saw that in cinema.
Yeah. Like,
Every single time the subject of Snow White is broached around Claudia. Every single time.
every time.
Because that's something she told me when I was little, watching it on a videotape recorded from the television, and she always had to rewind it. And then we were watching it together, and she'd always fast forward through the ads, but she'd always go too far and have to rewind, and then she'd rewind back into the ads, and so we'd just have to watch the ads anyway. And she'd always tell me when we watched Snow White, you know, I saw this in
Every single time?
when I was 8.
Okay.
When she was 8.
But
So
back
it's
then,
ingrained in my
If
brain.
it wasn't your grandma, I'd make a joke. Not a bad one, anyway.
But that's the thing, Disney was going up against these other big corporations, what Disney's become now, to show them what for. They didn't want to hire him, they wanted a particular model of entertainment because that's what sold, and that was the formula for making that thing well.
Even when he was making Mary Poppins, the author, she was adamant about there being no animations, but he was like, no one's going to want to watch it if it's a Disney movie without animation, so he put it in anyway.
Yeah.
That is a different topic. That I'm like...
But he knows what
probably
sells.
He does, but at the same time, he was still, I feel like he had a vision, and he
And it was
was
still a nice story.
trying to convey values. Like, it wasn't just to make money. If he wanted to just make money, he'd go to the stock market or, work at a business for the rest of his life, an office job.
And that was a lot. He did not work in a business for the rest of his life. He ran Disney.
But you know what I'm saying, right?
I know
Like, if he
exactly.
wanted to make money, he wouldn't be making these giant risks because of the vision he had in his head.
If he wanted to make money, he'd invest in property.
Yeah. And we've seen now, in the modern day, if you want to make money, then you want to work for these big studios, which, you know, how often do we actually see movies say, oh, it was a great movie, had great story morals? No, you always see how much it cost to make, you know, with Halo and with Rings of Power and every single Marvel movie. It's how successful was it at the box office. It's all about the money now.
Exactly. It shows that the artisan, the person making the burger, has changed, and so has the ingredients, because that person like, no, we'll get rid of the bun, get rid of the cheese, get rid of that. What? No, get me a plant-based version of that, thank you. You know.
Thank you for making a vegan joke. I wanted to make one.
It's like eating your parents' or grandparents' home
What? Eating your grandparents or parents?
Would you like to let me finish my sentence?
No.
Eating their home-cooked meals that won't cost very much, but it feels good, versus going to a fancy restaurant. It's big bucks, and it might be delicious food, but it doesn't exactly fill you up the same way.
Well, you can get, you know,
and you can
delicious.
go to a really good, expensive restaurant, but it's not the same as...
Or you can get both of best worlds.
As your parents' food.
Have a cheap home-cooked meal that's easy to make. When you go to Hello...
It's okay. One day.
That would have been a perfect segue.
Yeah. No, but again, the artisan has changed. The watch isn't being made the same way, and it doesn't bloody even work anymore. But, you know, people keep... Well, actually, no, people don't keep buying it.
Well, they do,
My
though.
watch says hello to
They
me
do.
now.
It's so frustrating. Just the... Like, obviously, we've been all awoken to it, okay? We can tell it's good media because I feel like we have at least... Sorry, was you making a face of like, oh...
What?
I thought you were going to call me out on something.
I hated The Lion King when I watched it in the cinema,
I couldn't even watch it.
but I will still go and see all the Disney movies in the cinema because I want to know. I want to see it. Even though I might think it's bad or not, I'm a sucker and I'll give them money.
Because the thing is, there's a new release of a segment in the new She-Hulk TV show, and it was basically just the She-Hulk being, you know, better than Hulk, and there was that segment there.
Yeah.
And all the comments were like, wow, the CG looks so good. At first I was worried about the CG, but now it's all good. The CG looks a lot better now. And every comment about the actual interaction, they're like, oh, this actually looks kind of funny, interesting. I'd love to watch this. No one was calling out the fact that, like, She-Hulk was being really obnoxious and rude and, you know...
Yeah, but then you got to think. Why did they do it? What would... Because obviously businesses and most people make moves to benefit themselves, unless they're a retard who self-sabotaged and who's sitting on your left, like me.
You know...
But my point is, right, why would they do it? And I think that this is just my personal conspiracy theory, it's not a big one, it's not offensive. I think that when they do things like that, they're not doing it to put it out for us. I think they're doing it to send a message to the people who it'll get back to them being benefited. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they come out like, oh, hey, here's a thing where we're showing off the women better. Oh,
yeah, it's less for the viewers and more for the investors who are obviously giving them the money.
Exactly.
Right.
You know,
it's like E3.
Yeah.
E3, although people think it is for... I mean, E3 is dead now, but people think it's for the players. You know, it's actually for the investors to see, oh, okay, you actually have a working product.
Yeah.
And so they're doing the same thing there with that release there.
Yeah, I don't think the media's for us, man.
No.
None
Although we
anymore.
cover it a lot, and people really enjoy the media. It's also quite distracting, the media, as well. That's a whole other topic on its own.
That's the entire... Well, I mean, apart from the mainstream journalist media, that's the whole point. Even that... No, actually, that is the whole point of the mainstream journalist media, is to distract. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Away from ideas. Yeah. But, look, we've covered the points of why Disney's making crap, and Hollywood in general. It's because those who are in charge now weren't the ones that are making the original content. They don't have the money to invest in new IP, so they're just using the same things they already own. The money that they're getting isn't from, you know, ticket or movie sales, so they can't really regulate that as much now. It's more off of merchandise and people who are investing in these movies because obviously they want a message to come by. And I think a lot of people aren't... Like, I was talking to people that I knew the other day about just shows we've been watching recently, which is a really sad thing to do now because everyone just thinks I'm a hater of everything because I call out, you know, all these shows. And they'll say, you know, Kenobi wasn't that bad. And I nearly cried, I nearly yell at them. And I'm like, how can you think that?
Yeah.
How can you think Kenobi was... Like, they don't say, oh, I hated it, or oh, I loved it. They say, it wasn't bad. But I think it was. I think it was legitimately an awful TV show.
Even as someone who isn't in love with Star Wars and is not a Star Wars fanboy, and I did like The Mandalorian, I found the show boring and like dumb sometimes. And I don't care about I don't really care about what it did to Kenobi.
I was talking to some people not too far ago, a couple of months or two maybe, and this person said, it was so good. Do you remember the part where he said, hello there, at the end? And I said to him, oh, at the very end? Like we've seen him do it before? Like, yeah.
Like, what about those 6 hours leading up to that? Was that good at all?
And by the way, if you're watching this, because you've said you've watched our reviews, you know who you are. We had burgers together by a campfire. You made fun of this great man over here. All of you did.
And we need to have a chat, okay? You talking about me and not getting me involved? We're gonna have a chat, okay? Kenobi sucked!
Yeah. How
It sucked! Are you kidding me? Qui-Gon at the end! Okay? Hello there!
They'll probably want to hear the.
Look!
Okay, that's enough.
I
don't actually want to hear that.
That
was
is
just
what
for
Disney
you.
wants viewers to be like.
That
And
is
that's what
the
they like in the
weirdest-
comment section.
That is the weirdest orgasm I've ever heard.
No, it's not an orgasm. It's
Please,
a
we don't need
built-up
an
amount of
explanation.
excitement.
It's a rawgasm!
But it's just being excited for something you've already seen before. It's
Yeah.
unoriginal, and the reason why I hate it so much is because it isn't the thing you've seen before. They've changed it and modified it to make you think it's something that it's not.
To be fair, Disney doesn't always suck at doing that. I really liked the Cinderella live action remake.
Yeah, that was from quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I think they got lucky on that one.
Was that the first remake?
That was the first remake.
Okay, I take it back.
And I think they just had the right director,
Wait, so
the right
you didn't like
acting, everything was
loved it.
done.
What am I listening to now? One of you speaks like it's like we're on an intersection and we've all pulled in at the same time.
You asked a question.
So you don't like it anymore, or what did you mean by
I loved the movie.
Okay,
That
so
movie itself is good because it still has the core, everything that we like in movies
What
is
else have
there.
we got?
It has a good message.
This isn't in
The acting
order.
was well done. It wasn't politically driven with wokeness. And at the end, I just felt good at the end. I was like, wow, that was a good movie. And it didn't feel like they made it for the sake of making money, which obviously there was an aspect to it. I felt like those who created it actually shared some sort of respect and love for the
passion.
material.
Let's find out who made it, though. Let's find out who made it. So because that's the thing, right? My theory is that the chefs have become worse. Why am I writing chef? Chris White. I want to see what else he's written. About a Boy, Mr. and Mrs.
Oh,
Smith.
About a Boy.
He's written some good ones and he's written some bad
Golden
ones.
Compass.
I mean, I liked Rogue One.
I didn't. I preferred Han Solo. Han Solo was at least fun, and
I
not depressing.
didn't. It wasn't bad.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Say that.
The original trailer looked better than the movie. And they
About
cut-
a Boy is a good movie.
It is, yeah. Okay.
The Golden Compass, not really.
Now go to Cinderella and press back. Now go to 2021, Cinderella.
I think this is.
Oh, that's a
this
completely
is the
different thing altogether.
Beauty and the Beast.
Was that the most recent
The
one?
most recent was The Lion King, wasn't
Aladdin? No.
it?
Well, I
think-
think Aladdin maybe.
I think The Lion King was the next one after Cinderella.
Okay.
I think the problem with Lion King was that it was too technically driven and there was nothing else guiding it. That's my opinion of The Lion King. That is the Lion King is
Sorry.
the prime example of look, it's pretty, therefore it's good.
Look,
Good,
it's
Adeline.
pretty and it has Beyonce. They cut out one of the best songs in The Lion King and replaced it with a Beyonce song where she just sings Spirits over and over again.
Guy Ritchie has been getting more misses than hits recently.
yeah.
He's got, from the past, by the way, that's a great movie. Snatch.
Do you like King Arthur?
No, that's what I'm saying. He's done misses recently.
Yeah.
Like King Arthur was a miss. The Gentleman was a miss.
Riders?
So why the hell? So my assumption was wrong. My opinion. For the
What
first
assumption?
time in human history, my opinion's been wrong.
No, but
What do you mean?
You're wrong about being right all the time. Wrong about being the first time being wrong, which makes you wrong. Therefore, anyway, I'm just rambling.
But again, I feel like we're looking at directors, and I think with Star Wars especially, like Kathleen Kennedy as a producer has her hands in all the pies, and is just that was too hot. That one needs more women.
Kathleen Kennedy has more. Wait, what? What the hell are these pies?
Jeez.
Is Armie Hammer making these pies?
She's just like,
And Kathleen Kennedy has a lot more hands and arms than that.
Yeah.
She's like a eldritch big.
She's like General Grievous.
She's Vecna. Vecna?
Vecna?
George Lucas.
In Stranger Things, he's got tentacles going everywhere.
So, look, I think the problem for these movies go a lot deeper. I think it is the overarching vision. And I think, quite honestly, it's the people who are in charge of these movies. I think, I hear a lot of people who still work on set and the crew, they get paid probably less than we do on a YouTube channel.
And you know what used to happen with Disney? I reckon they used to have creators who wanted to tell the story, and then they were allowed to go and tell the story.
Yeah,
they didn't have the higher-ups going, no, change this, no, change that. They made a story, and then it was approved.
No, you're right, because if you've noticed in recent years, we've lots of creators who have separated on creative differences as well. That's happened a lot more frequently, I think, in recent times compared to 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I think my theory, I could be wrong, is that they get a script and they hand it, or someone gets a vision and they let that vision be known in some way, whether it's a script or whatever, to the higher ups, and the higher ups hand it to a diversity expert or a investment banker, and the investment banker says, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, substitute this woke thing, this woke thing, this woke thing. I think that's what happens.
Happens a lot. And probably not even the script. I think they probably do the script. When filming, there'll be people on set who say, okay, we need this to happen instead of that. And even in editing, reshoots happen a lot. And especially, like, even in the Batman, you said that there was some stuff that you think, it dragged on near the end because they just did reshoots.
The whole movie flipped.
Yeah.
The movie was concise and made sense up until a certain point.
Yeah.
And then the entire thing flipped, and I'm thinking that's when it changed. That was my opinion.
And so, look, I think it's just that those people who are in charge now have gotten there because they are good at what they need their job to be, which is to make money and make the people who need to be happy, which isn't you, be happy. And we need to watch out for that, and we need to be especially vigilant just for the...
And watch out for those gems, because they still
Yeah,
exist.
watch out for the gems too, support those people, and what I
There's
do...
still
Gems one
good
good?
stuff up there, out there.
Was Gems 1 good?
No, but the prequel was pretty good.
Oh, what was the prequel? Igneous Rock?
Yeah.
Set 35 million years in the future. You haven't seen the Gems movies? No. Oh, they're gems. The prequel really just sums up how much pressure they were under.
I can't tell.
No,
it's all a joke,
Claudia. These gems, before they were gems, they were under so much pressure for so long.
I really liked Everything Everywhere All at Once and Top Gun and
these gems
Elvis.
that you...
Everything?
Everything.
Damn, you're positive.
But no, like with these movies,
And The Sea Beast on Netflix. That's a good one.
you buy them on Blu-ray, you buy the t-shirts.
Keep going. It's funny, because you interrupted him once, and you're like, fine, I'll just ignore that, keep going. And then when you laughed, you did it again, and then, because
With the
you're
look on his face.
your face is so red now, you're blushing. Anyway,
She's laughing.
I'm sorry, Nathan,
It's the
please
look
go
on
on.
Nathan's face. No,
No, I'm just saying, yeah, you're right. Like, of course,
Gems
be
out
vigilant
there.
to the bad things, but I think the one thing that those people hate is when they aren't in the spotlight anymore.
Which people?
The bad movies. The big corporate people who just want to make
Bad
money off
movie
of you
people.
and
The
send a
big
message
big
because
bad movie people.
you are a misogynistic, bigoted Christian. So look, there's lots of ideas in here that we could probably dive in more with, but I think without the research and proper, careful knowledge that we have, I think it's just important to understand that Disney is not here to help you. They're not here to give you good entertainment. They're getting worse and worse, and as time goes on, they're going to get progressively worse. The same with Hollywood in general.
And like a diver, we don't have enough oxygen to go as deep as we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so...
And that's why, at least as far as your oxygen tank concerns you, you should always stay on watch. How great was that? I'm a genius.